So let's get to our trading. Today, I will trade on intra-exchange quotes, and that means that on all the currency pairs I've selected, there is a status OTC, and also I've already made a detailed and qualitative analysis of the market for the last period of time. And when trading on the OTC market, I always try to on the trend, and today will not be an exception. For today's trading, I have selected the following set of indicators, which includes alligator with default settings, fractal with a period of 5, and super trend also with default settings. Simple strategy, and literally a few conditions for the entry point you have to observe, and most of the positions. I think that more than 80% of your positions with proper practice and proper analysis, you 100% will close in plus. Trades will be opened on the minute time frame, and each position I will explain in detail so that by the end of watching you have as few questions as possible. And I think that in the course of trading, you will understand how to use this bunch of indicators and what logic you should reason with at the opening of your trades. We will trade on the minute time frame and start with a deal of $100. Let's start trading, start analyzing, and select the first currency pair for the most optimal entry into the transaction. And let's go ahead and open the opposition right here on the downside in a pullback of the dynamics against direction. If the dynamics on this candle will show even more upward momentum in the direction, I will open an additional entry point, because here are good enough conditions for the opening. And let me open an additional trade right here. I will not wait long. In general, we have a position on the super trend begin to show the emergence of downward momentum. This is the first point that we have to take into account. The movement has crossed the moving lines. Now the movement is below all the moving lines. So this is the second signal to open. Downside trades. Earlier, we also had an update of the structural global high, so I decided to open a downside trade. I think the pullback should continue. The first position closed in the negative. There are about 10 seconds left to the end of the second position, and the position closes in plus without any problems. Of course, here I had a chance for a mistake, but I will continue to open on the maximum amount of balance, and I will not make such mistakes anymore. I will show you the ideal entry points that will certainly work. Let's continue and pick up the next currency. And this is where I'm going to open a position on the downside in the continuation of the downward dynamics. Here I'm going to be guided exclusively by 3 points. The crossing of the moving alligator lines. We can see that the moving lines are now heading downwards. Also, the price movement has crossed these moving alligator lines, and there was a structural high update earlier, so it should be updated the structural low. And anyway, the dynamics of the movement should be heading lower. Let's watch the result. In this case, we don't need to follow the super trend, and the position is closed in plus without problems. Let's change also the amount of the value of the transaction, put the maximum, and continue our trading. Let's slightly adjust the selection of currency pairs. We see that the percentages we have not quite optimal for today's trading. I want to get a more satisfactory profit, and let's select these assets. And we will have to analyze the entry points and analyze the market, but I think I can handle this task. Let's continue the analysis and select the following currency pair. And here I will probably open a position on the upside. In my opinion, this is a newly selected currency pair, and it shows very good volatility in the dynamics of movement for the last section of the chart and position. The super trend shows an upward direction. There was a crossing of the moving lines of the alligator from bottom to top. They begin to show the upward dynamics as well as the movement itself. We have crossed the alligator lines. And I open a trade on this pullback in the form of this long candle. Let's see the result. And the position closes in plus. Great. The right timing of the opening and the opening level led to the successful completion of the position. Super. Let's do the next trade as well. I will open to the maximum balance amount. Let's continue trading and pick up the next currency pair. And here, 100% position will be opened on the downside. Quite a good entry point. Let's highlight the working area. In general, we understand that yes, we have a trend now, has a downward movement. There was a good pullback, a structural high has been formed, and then we have a downward trend again. We see that the previous structural high is a few price levels lower, and also the global low is a few price levels lower. So I think the price is going to go towards this level. We are looking at the result. We have already broken the first low. It's happening. Last seconds to close this position. And the trade closes in the plus side. Great, I can see over $1 on my balance. And let me open another position for $281. I won't risk all the profit, just consolidate the result. And open another position. In general, even if the trade closes in the negative, profit in the amount of $800 will more than satisfy me for today's trading process. So let's continue and pick up the following currency pair. And the entry into the deal did not take long to wait. Despite such a strong impulse on this candle, I still risked to open a deal on the rise. I think there is a potential for further exit up. Of course, we've previously had a fairly impulsive pullback in the dynamics, and after updating the structural minimum, we have a position on the super trend began to show again upward dynamics. Here I observed the crossing of the moving lines of the alligator, and also the price crossed these moving lines, and at the crossover I open a trade. Look at the result. Last 10 seconds to close, and the position is closed in plus. Excellent super result, excellent profit for this trade. Let's fix it and go to the output tab. The sum of today's profit will be $1.334. The withdrawal operation is executed. This is the trade for today. As you can see, the conditions for entry and my logic of opening trades are almost the same. That is the important point. You need to watch the position of the super trend and the behavior of the moving lines. And I think from the course of my trading, you have understood how to do it correctly and the conditions in which you should open your positions. In general, as I said in the beginning, nothing is really difficult. A little practice and proper analysis of the market, and most of your trades will close in the plus. Try it, I assure you. Thank you all for watching. If you still have any questions, in the description under the video, you can always find a link to my Telegram and ask any question you may have. I will try to help everyone. Have a good day and as many positive close trades as possible.